Good evening, everyone. It is 5:53 on February 20th, and I would like to call this Honolulu Youth Commission to adjournment. No.
To open?
To opening.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. If the secretary could take minutes.
Good thing it wasn't recording.
Attendance, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Wen? Commissioner Kronzel?
Here.
Commissioner Zadek? Commissioner Shimizu?
Here.
Commissioner Shea?
Here.
Commissioner Sutton? Secretary Duran? Commissioner Mishina? Vice Chair Millard?
Here.
Vice Chair Azama?
Ill.
Commissioner Valadoy? Not here. Chair Campbell?
Here.
Commissioner Hope?
Here.
And Commissioner Payne?
Here.
And Commissioner Browner?
Here.
That'll be it. Thank you.
Moving on to the next order of business, is there anybody from the public here tonight that would like to testify? Seeing not, moving on to the approval of minutes. The January minutes were sent out a couple days ago. Is there anybody that would like to make motions regarding it?
I make a motion to approve January's minutes.
Is there any seconds?
I second.
The January minutes have been approved. Moving on to old business. Do the secretaries have any updates for social media? Seeing not, is there any updates on the Honolulu Youth Commission survey?
No, there hasn't been any updates.
I have a question.
Yes.
For the secretaries, do we know if our following has increased on Instagram in the last month?
Sorry, yeah, I was going to say something, but I couldn't unmute quickly. Back to the social media, our boosts have been very effective. Like, we have been gaining followers consistently over time, and our outreach has increased when we boosted our posts from last month. So in terms of social media, yes, we are gaining more followers, and I saw this morning that our profile visits have increased, but our commission survey has not received new responses.
Yeah, I see we almost have 1,000 followers on Instagram.
Yes. I'm also looking at it, and it looks like we hit 23 accounts reached in the last 6 days, and 16 of them were from people who don't follow us, and 7 were from people who do follow us. And that's an increase. Oh, no, that's actually a decrease, but no, it's still progress, right? 17 people, 16 non-followers hit, so that's pretty big. So I think we should continue on our path of posting more often. Actually, I'll bring this up in the next portion. But was there any other updates from the secretaries about anything pertaining old business before we move on?
None.
Okay. Moving on to the next agenda item, that is permitted interaction groups. Is there any updates from the PIG for finance? Seeing not, the PIG for education. Seeing not, moving on to the PIG for defueling Red Hill.
No report.
Moving on to the PIG for youth intervention and trafficking.
Yeah, so recently we met with representatives from whole Napua, which is like the state's leading organization against youth trafficking, and we learned a lot of great information. We really got a good scope in terms of how serious the issue of youth trafficking is, and we're making plans to possibly visit one of the treatment centers, as well as possibly bringing in one of them to serve as a guest speaker at our meetings, but that's still decided.
That's really great. If you guys if you do visit that center, I think that would be a really good opportunity for the Youth Commission to make a social media post, maybe describing what you all did, and then also keeping it in mind, just right off the top of my head, that's something that that could be really valuable for the next HYC newsletter edition that we do next quarter. So kind of having that in the back of our minds. Moving on to the PIG for outreach.
No update.
Okay. And then the town hall, I'm assuming no updates either. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next section on our agenda, that is new business or resolutions. We do have quite a bit under this part of the agenda, and a lot of new resolutions, which is exciting for us all, especially because it's going to be our first resolution of 2024. Did the author of HYC resolution number 24-001 want to speak about it before we discuss?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this resolution I put together is regarding it's called the recreational gardening program, so otherwise known as the community garden. So there's only a few locations right now, or there's a good amount, but a lot of them are all on the east side of Oahu, so pretty much in the town areas. And so I wrote this resolution for hopefully the expansion of that program, mainly to expand onto the west side of the island where there currently aren't any gardens. The furthest west location is in Wahiawa right now. And while that is one of the biggest areas and has the most number of spots, it really doesn't, it isn't a viable option, I think, for anyone that lives past, Waipahu area. So yeah, I wrote this up pretty much just urging council members to look into expanding that, if that's adding more plots to certain locations or hopefully just creating new locations. I don't think there's been any new ones established in any recent years, so hoping to just expand that program. I just recently joined the Wahiawa one, so I've really found the benefit of it and hope that more people can utilize that service too. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions.
Did any commissioners have any questions for Lindsay?
Who's the target audience for these gardens? Is it open to everyone?
Yeah, they're pretty much open to anyone. I'd say from what I've seen, a lot of the users right now are kind of older people, a lot of elderly I see, at least in the one I go to. So I did make a mention too in this, hopefully that these programs are also advertised to a broader range of audience. It seems like right now it's kind of just word of mouth, and so it's kind of only the older population that even knows about it. Yeah, hoping it's expanded or advertised well in schools too, because I think some young people, I don't know if that many, but I'm sure there are some that'd be interested in it. But yeah, it is open to whoever, anyone that is able to. And I also did mention too, there are fees. They're pretty minimal. And I put a note in there to keep it affordable, because that is definitely a barrier for some people. So anyone who's able to pay those fees are able to join. Bronson?
Yeah, no real question, but just voicing also support. Other thing that I think would be a recommendation, but I don't think we need to motion anything, but it's up to the commission if you want to do such, But just overall, like encourage, like whenever we're placing or advocating for the development of something, that the community is consulted on whether one first, like if they want it, and then two, determining a location that would be best appropriate. Because I think the community would be open to it. I would hope so, but I would advise like always working with the community, especially if this is going to the mayor's office, which I would hope that they do. But yeah, just saying that for the record's sake. Mahalo.
Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I did not do any of that. But yeah, hoping some people in those positions are able to do some of that research and outreach. Because, yeah, it's definitely good to consider which specific areas. Anything else?
I'd like to move to accept the resolution.
I would like to second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. HYC resolution 24-001 is now passed.
Yay, thank you.
Yay! Congratulations, Vice Chair Millard.
Oh yeah, I want to double check too. This is my first resolution I'm submitting. Do I need to do anything on the submission and to send it to the offices, or is that?
You do. You don't. That's handled.
Okay.
We have people for that.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you listed what's going at the end of it, which you did, yeah. So yeah, everything's good. Moving on to the next order of business, HYC resolution number 24-002. I actually submitted this one based on what we spoke about at the last Youth Commission meeting about our budget and getting a jump start on that so that we're not late on it like last year. So hopefully you all had a chance to read it. I am decreasing the amount that we asked for. If I think most of you guys are new, but last year we did ask for 10,000 right off the bat, and we only got 5,000. And we haven't, I don't believe, come close to spending that 5,000. So I did decrease the amount that we were asking for from the city to 2,750. I broke it down between, I think the biggest one is the Instagram advertisement, so that's including boosting our posts. We've seen that it's helped a lot. So I allocated 450 to that. Miscellaneous expenses was a big one, so that's 1,500. If in the future the Youth Commission does decide to have outreach events in person, kind of foreseeing the costs for that, and then also outreach items. I don't know why I'm explaining it. You guys all have a copy of it. But, so it all came out to 2,750, which is almost like half, a little over half than what we were given. So, if anybody has anything to say.
Are we open to discussion for this?
Yes, absolutely.
So I would have to be somewhat in opposition to this resolution, but open to amendments. I think commissioner attire is good, and I think it's good for us to be able to have that more unified front for going to community events. And it looks like the boost posting has been effective. I would like to express some concern that we're relying a little bit on as a crutch, and a majority of the work to reach out to youth could be fronted on ourselves. I don't think we need money to spend on lays. We can make lays. $350 is a good sum of money, and then 1,500 for miscellaneous expenses. Charlotte mentioned that in one of our PIG discussions that the city's looking to decrease on its budget. We're having to look on where money can be cut, and it's especially important for us to understand that this money is, I believe, taxpayer money, meaning this money could be going to something else, could be going to working to solve our house crisis. It could be working to support our community through social services. So just being really careful on how we spend this money, and given what we have spent this commission session, I just don't feel like 1,500 is necessary, and maybe we could limit it back to 500 or 250 until we have a need. But right now it's been kind of an open discussion every commission meeting.
Kind of building off of what Diego just said, I was also kind of wondering if we had any ideas for the necessary new commissioner attire, because as we just talked about, this is taxpayer money that we're talking about, so we would like to cut down wherever we can. And if we don't necessarily have any new ideas for commissioner attire, I feel like the jackets are pretty sufficient.
I think the new commissioner attire is like for new commissioners, right? Like if we already have jackets, we wouldn't be getting more jackets.
I see. Yeah.
Also, I would like to thank Charlotte for introducing this, and she did make it all on her own, and just wanted to be appreciative of that. I know we're discussing it, but thank you, Charlotte, for making that on your own.
Yeah. So, seeing that, I completely agree with you guys. I think the miscellaneous expenses, and when I did originally write it, it was less, but then I put more because, I don't know, I was worried that because we were cutting it by so much that it was a big change from last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that could totally be cut down a lot. So I can go back and revise it and submit it for next meeting.
I talked with Kevin. We can amend it today.
We can
and
amend
pass
it today?
Yeah.
Okay. How do we?
So we need to just agree on what
Discuss
to we
numbers?
we
Okay.
just come out with a final amended version and then vote on it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and we have lots of time. It's only 5:50. So, did we want to completely scrap the lay part? I think that's kind of sad because if we remember when we were all appointed to the commission, we all got a lay, and that's a nice thing to have.
I agree. It is a nice thing to have, though we could make it by hand. And also, didn't the mayor's office front that last time?
I thought we did.
Did we front the bill on the?
Isn't it the
Yeah, but it was
Oh,
the
we
mayor's
did.
office.
I don't know. I sent an email asking for it, so. Okay.
Wait, Joshua, do you know? The mayor's, yeah, the
That was covered by the mayor's office.
Okay. So that can pretty much go then. Does anyone have any opposition? Yes, Con?
I'm just curious, have we been giving lays to all of the guest speakers that came to speak to us?
I think that one time Diego actually made us lays, which
Yeah.
was very nice of him.
One time I made lays, but we had too many people, so I wasn't able to give them to the guest speakers, and I gave them to Olelo because they help us.
Okay.
So are we all in collective?
I was gonna ask Diego, are you willing to make all future lays?
So no, but I think that's something that like the outreach. I think that's something that like the outreach PIG can do. It wasn't that hard to make them. It took for those. I think it was 3 that I had. It took maybe an hour, and so just take some trial and error. But I think that's a good thing for us to do, and also, you know, it's very something that it's a little bit more meaningful if we make them ourselves, and especially because some lays are imported from offshores, that might be better just for us to do it.
Okay, I agree. Yeah, just want to make sure we know like well in advance if there's gonna be guests and where, so we can make sure someone's making those. But yeah, that sounds like a meaningful thing to do. I just want to make a comment though. I think there is room to cut back on stuff, but I also don't want to cut back too much. Like for example, in the other miscellaneous side, I think it might be good to have that wiggle room. I know like 1,500 makes it sound like a lot now, but also just having that available rather than like cut it to $500 and then we might be able to spend that all in like one event or something. Yeah, I just don't want to cut it too much without also giving us room to brainstorm things for the future.
I think that's also the thought that I had originally going into submitting this version was we don't know what it can bring in the future. So, back to the point about yes, Vice Chair Zama.
Oh, sorry, I was gonna make a motion. So in regards to, I motion to amend the resolution to remove the lay for guest speakers and new commissioners swearing-in ceremony. And yeah,
Okay, and discuss that.
Is that motion? Is
Yeah,
there any
I'll
other-
second the motion.
Okay. Is there any other motions for this resolution to amend it?
Okay, I see the point on the miscellaneous expenses, and I do think it would be good to have wiggle room. Cutting it back 250 is definitely a lot, but I just don't know what we would use it for. And at our last virtual town hall event, we had not as much attendance as we were hoping for, and I feel like if we were to do like an in-person thing with where we would have the ability to buy things, I just am doubtful that we'll have that, be able to have a turnout.
Vice Chair Zama.
yeah, I'll speak to that too. Like, and in regards to this motion, I don't know if I'd accept the cutting down as a friend amendment on this case, so we might have to just go with this motion for now. But I think for future planned events for food, like I would like advise like the commission get more involved with other events. Like we could have had something attached to like some of the events that were going up at like I think it's the Kinky Caucus. And then also like some other events that were held at the Capitol for youth events. Like those are areas I think the HYC could invest food in and have like an engaging space where there's already existing events occurring. So I'm kind of okay with it having like that wiggle room for the future as HYC, as our youth commissioners get accustomed to working with other organizations as well as seeing where youth needs are occurring and how we can be better a part of those solutions. But yeah, mahalo.
I think that's a really good point, and yeah, we might not have had that much turnout at our first virtual event, but I mean, our goal kind of going into this year, I think, was to like expand the youth commission as much as possible, and by doing that, that could potentially incur cost. And this budget is for an entire year too. I think we have to remember that it's not just until the end of this session.
Yeah, that's fair. I think a lot of my concerns come from a lack of commissioner participation. And that's kind of why I'm scared to, ask this money from the city. But if we are really looking to be more involved in those youth events, I think it could be a really good use of money.
So was there any motion regarding this part of the budget? Okay. I guess now it's just more of like an open thing. If anyone thinks anything else should be edited on this budget, now would be the time to say it.
Could I ask a question? So, for the $450 allocated for the Instagram advertisements, I was just curious, like, how much it costs for boosting each post, and maybe if we could cut back by, like he suggested, doing more on our individual part. I was just curious to know, like, where the money would go, because I haven't really paid for boosting before, so.
Yeah. I think the secretaries are very well equipped to answer that.
Sorry, point of order real quick. So we still need to vote on the motion for the guest speakers.
Was there a
to remove
motion?
the item on the budget.
Yeah, we have to.
The motion was to amend, to have it removed.
We have to. Yeah, we have
Oh,
to
okay.
motion to amend it,
And
and
then
then
second.
we vote on the
We
amended.
vote. Oh yeah. How do I do that?
Yeah, so
'Cause
I
it's not-
second the motion to amend the resolution.
Amend.
Yeah,
So then we vote.
and then now we would vote if we want to amend it. You could do a roll vote from the secretary.
Oh
Or
yeah. Yeah. Can we do that?
Just say all in favor, any opposed,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. All in favor of this motion to amend the resolution to remove that portion of the budget that was allocated for lay for guest speakers.
I.
All
Aye.
those opposed.
Aye.
All those opposed, if there are any. Okay, great. So this amendment has now been made, and it's been edited into the budget. Is there any other? Oh, you had a question about yes. If the secretaries could address the boosting of posts, how much that usually costs.
I don't think I can state like an average cost as it is really case by case. It really depends on our goals regarding the specific post, but if it's just like a regular advertisement regarding like an informational post, then that should cost around $300.
$300 per.
Per post?
Yeah.
Actually no, $300 is like the max. Per post would be around $150. If it was like a purely informational post.
I can chime in a little bit here. I think the way it's been working is you've been specifying how much you want to allocate for a given time period.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it works on Instagram, I think, is they just take that amount you're willing to spend and it breaks it down basically per day, how much you spend per day. As for how many advertisements Instagram will show per amount you spend, I don't know that exact amount, but presumably it works if you spend more per day, then it'll show more advertisements. Versus if you
Yeah,
spend less. So basically it lets you choose how much you want to spend in a given time period. It's not necessarily per advertisement as far as I'm aware.
How much have we spent on average on a post?
Yeah, so that's why I mentioned 150, but that's like I think one of the minimum. I think it ranges from like 150 to 200 post.
So maybe we save boosting for like special things, but would we maybe be in favor of moving some miscellaneous expenses over to boosting? Because anyone wanna, or does like what are our thoughts on that?
But yeah, some additional information that might. Oh, sorry, am I interrupting someone?
No.
Okay, some additional information that may help with like decision making. So like the minimum that you might like want to spend, like it can go as low from like $30 or like yeah, well it can go really low or it can go like terribly high, like we don't have that money but like $30,000. Like it has a really huge range. So if we were to like adjust our goals, like we wouldn't have to be spending like 200 per post. Like it's not a fixed amount. Like Josh pointed out, we can totally adjust.
You mentioned 30. What would 30 get us? $30.
So that also depends on like the duration of like how much you want to advertise. So if I were to select like I want to spend $1 per day for 30 days, then throughout the span of 30 days, I would be able to reach a minimum of like 5,000 accounts. So it would work like that.
For $30, we could reach 5,000 accounts.
But the thing is, like, the 5,000 isn't a fixed guarantee. It's just saying that how much it'll pop up into other people's feeds. So the turnout that we've been having for Instagram has been achieved by us spending like between $100 to $200 per post.
I'm trying to see if we can go back and see like what the engagement has been for each post since we started boosting them. But okay. So I just pulled a random commissioner bio that wasn't boosted at all, and it says it hit 368 accounts. And then our last one, which I think was our town hall that we boosted a lot, that hit 355 accounts. So
maybe it would be a good task for the outreach PIG to like maybe track it on what's working, what we've been doing.
okay, but at the same time, on that note, the account, the commissioner bio that had more profile views had way less account engagement. It had 41 compared to the town hall had 111.
Oh, okay. What
I
does
think
the account
that's-
engagement mean?
I think that's where the money is. I think that's how many people see a post and then they click on our account from it.
Profile visits and like
Yeah.
interactions with like the link and the bio, which should be our commission survey.
And then obviously, yeah, it says 12 people from that post, 12 people clicked on an external link in our bio from it.
So, would we maybe be okay with moving $300 from miscellaneous expenses over to Instagram boosts? That gives us, what, 6 or 6? No, 4. Someone help me out here. If we have $600, yeah, it would give us 4 boosts. So we could make 4 like town hall boosts.
Yeah. Does anyone have any commentary on moving how much? 300?
I think that's a good idea because if we start rolling out our newsletters
Actually,
also,
give us 7.
along with more informational posts,
Wait, what do you want to make
I
that?
think that would definitely be helpful.
So this goes down.
Yeah, so I'll make a motion to amend the miscellaneous expenses to 1,200, and then to amend the Instagram advertisements to 750.
Okay.
I second that motion.
The motion has been seconded to move miscellaneous expenses to 1,200 and then put in 300 to the Instagram advertisements to make that total $750. I think this motion has now been put to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All those not in favor, please say nay. Okay. So that motion has been approved. So right now the budget is at, I believe, let me add this up.
And really quick, Joshua, how much did we spend on the jackets? Was it 450?
I'd have to double check.
That's all right. It was about,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess we could always move it on miscellaneous expenses.
Yeah. So right now the budget where it's at, I wish I could share this, but It's at 2,400 as the total, with the breakdown being new commissioner attire at 450, Instagram advertisements at 750, and then the other miscellaneous category at 1,200. Does anybody have commentary?
Could we maybe would it be possible to, I know we already have HYC's swag pens and tote bags for the outreach items. Is there a reason you couldn't combine the new commissioner attire into that, so that way if the jackets cost more or less, we don't have to worry about, or does it have to be separate?
I don't think it's necessarily set. I think we have some
Yeah.
flexibility. It's just our
Okay.
proposal to the city to saying
Just so they can see what
this
we're
is
planning.
generally what we
Okay,
plan.
okay.
Yeah. So I'll make a motion to vote on the passage of the amended HYC resolution 2402.
Is there any second?
I second the motion.
Okay. All those in favor of resolution number 24-002, which is our budget for fiscal year 2025, please say aye.
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 Any opposition, please say nay. Perfect. So resolution 24-002 with its amendments has been passed. And then I can send you the new one, the amended one. Okay. Great. So that's a pretty good accomplishment,
Great job.
guys.
Woo!
Yes. Woohoo. We didn't do it late this year, which is great. Okay, moving on to the next order of business.
Really quick. I don't know if this would fall under this discussion.
Yes.
But do we need to send someone to testify at the city budget meeting for that? Or would it be a good idea?
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but you don't have to.
Okay. Maybe that's something that the finance PIG can discuss.
I don't think that we're not there yet.
No, we're not there yet?
No.
What do you mean?
Is there anybody
Okay.
right off the bat
Okay.
that would be interested in doing this?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be interested in testifying. I need to know the day, but I'm close by.
Great. Perfect. That's wonderful. Hopefully we can get you those details soon. Anything else under budget? Nope. Okay. Moving on to resolution number 24-003. This is one that I wrote as well. And I think, do I need to pass the gavel to somebody if I wrote this one?
Technically,
I would like to pass the gavel and the duties of the chair to Vice Chair Millard. Would you be able to do it? Or Vice Chair Azama? Any of you all?
Sure. I'll
Okay.
take it.
Take it.
Go for it, Charlotte.
So I should have done that for the budget. Anyway, this resolution, I got inspiration because one of my close friends actually was abandoned at birth and was put into the foster care system and got adopted out of the foster care system because she was abandoned on a bridge when she was an infant. So, and I know that she holds a lot of childhood trauma and it follows her to this day because of it. So, and also seeing the new news articles of women abandoning their newborns in trash bins and on sidewalks that have been happening recently on Oahu and also in Hilo, I thought that something needed to be done about this. So I looked at what mainland states have been doing, and they actually have a program where they're called baby boxes, and they're installed in the sides of hospitals. And in these baby boxes, if a mother gives birth to an infant and the infant is under 72 hours old and hasn't been harmed in any way, the baby can be surrendered anonymously, quickly and discreetly, in a safe way where it won't be abandoned in like a trash can or anything terrible like that. So I wrote this resolution because the city currently doesn't have anything like this, and I think it could be really valuable for all Oahu residents, or Honolulu residents, I should say. So this resolution is asking that the city install baby boxes in all Honolulu city and county fire stations. Yeah. If anybody had
Does
any
anyone
questions.
have questions?
Yeah.
Is that the only place that when you said you looked it up on the mainland, is that typically where they would have their baby box?
They're typically done in hospitals and fire stations across the country. So I put this resolution as fire stations because the city has control over that.
I think this is really great, and I didn't know that it wasn't that way. I knew they had it in Washington, and was a little disheartened to hear that they didn't have it in Hawaii. Just out of curiosity, the baby boxes, how would a fire, like, is it like pressure censored? Like, how would the fire department know if a baby was placed in there?
Yeah, so the goal is basically to save the lives of these newborns, right? So the boxes, they're installed directly into the wall of the fire station, so they can't be removed. And it's basically like a little door that you open. You put the baby inside. It's temperature controlled, of course. And then the minute that the mother would close the door, a silent alarm goes off in the inside of the fire station, and a firefighter or healthcare provider can take the infant out of the box and bring it to proper care. So that would be probably most presumably a hospital for evaluation.
Very cool. I'd like to make a motion to vote on House or Youth Commission Resolution 2403.
I second that motion.
Okay, can we call to a vote then? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Those opposed? Okay, seeing none, this resolution is passed. Good job, Charlotte. Yeah, sounds like a really good one.
Thank you guys. So moving on to HYC Resolution 24-004. I believe this was proposed by Commissioner Carranza, if you would like to speak on it.
Yeah, I'd love to. So this resolution and then also proposed bill comes from some experience that I had working in social work. I interacted with a lot of young parents under the age of 24 that were struggling to find a place to live, and oftentimes, we're like a step away from having a house and a car, but oftentimes, it can be one or the other, right? If you save up enough to buy a car, then you're sacrificing that to a house, and if you're buying a house or getting enough for first and last month's rent, a car is something that you might not have to either get to a job or other such. And I know in a lot of other states, specifically Colorado, which is where I looked for inspiration for this, the city puts on these safe parking lots where people can sleep in their cars. They're safe. Generally, it's not safe to sleep in your car in like a non-monitored area. And when people do, they take into consideration, because unfortunately it is a truth that some people have to, kind of hide and live in their cars, that they look for a safer area. And it would be just best for the city and the state not to criminalize it as much. Even in Colorado, there's some really great nonprofits that work alongside the city and provide services. So, it's kind of two birds with one stone. People have a safe place to sleep that are, only have shelter in their car. And then they're also able to get social services, which is really great. Shelters for homeless people are not always an option. There's a variety of things that go into it. Some shelters are just not safe or suitable for children. Some limit on partners, some limit on mental health or physical health. And so it's just best to, open our means for assisting our houseless population and moving away from criminalizing not having a house.
Thank you, Diego. Was there any comments or questions for him regarding it? Or did you want to talk about the bill attached to it?
Yeah. The bill just enables it to. So as it currently stands, the state has a law that basically discusses that it's illegal to sleep in your car, but it does allow counties to make their own laws. Restricting or regulating that. And so this bill would just enable the city to officially launch a pilot program to begin a safe parking lot initiative. Essentially what this would look like is the city would identify a city parking lot and set up a registry, so people would register their name and then their car with it, and they'd get a spot for a set number of time, whatever the city deems, and basically every night they'll have a safe place to sleep, and they'll be able to find a job, continue working, get a living space situated. I found out also, going back to some things I've encountered, that people will get a credit card and just live in a hotel or a motel. This is something that they wouldn't have to do because they'd have a safe place every night.
Any questions or comments for Commissioner Carranza? I actually did have one. Yeah. So I think a big part of the resolution is making sure that it's a safe space for individuals. So how are we going to make sure this happens? Like, is the city going to have to hire a security guard? What is that going to look like?
Yeah, so I left it kind of on the vaguer side for the city to, kind of determine. It could be having, HPD there. It could be having security cameras there. It could be just putting it next to a police station. So there's a lot of wiggle room. I would imagine having one or two individuals from law enforcement or contracted private security there.
Is there any other comments from anybody? Seeing nods. Is there any motions to accept this resolution?
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Yeah, is there a motion to vote?
Is there a motion to vote on it?
Yeah, why didn't you say answers again?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to vote on the Youth Commission 2404.
Is there any?
I'll second that.
Okay. All those in favor of HYC Resolution 24004, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. Perfect. So Resolution 24-004 has now been approved. Do we have to do the bill separately? No? Okay. Congratulations, Commissioner Carranza, on your resolution being passed. Moving on.
Oh, sorry.
Moving on to the next order of business that I had built in to the agenda, I wanted to spend some time talking about the PIGs. Just because on my end, and I think on some other commissioners' ends, we've noticed that there hasn't been much engagement with the PIGs. I feel like pretty consistently most of the PIGs that I call out at the meetings. There's no updates for them. And some of them I'm on and some of them I'm not on. But I was wondering if there's any representatives from the PIG for finance or from... Okay, basically, I'll cut to the chase. I think that some of the PIGs, since they're not active anymore, and PIGs really only exist in theory for a short amount of time until the goal or purpose of the PIG has been accomplished. So I think that the PIG for finance and for the HYC town hall can be dismantled.
Yeah, do we need a motion for that?
Dismantle the PIGs for not education, for finance and the town hall.
I think you can just do that as chair.
Okay.
Okay.
So before I do that, was there any strong opposition against? Yes, Vice Chair Azama.
Yeah, I was just gonna chime in at least for PIG for finance. So just so people get context onto how these things form, but for finance, it was the idea to a lot of the, or at least for the permitted interaction groups, were to substitute committees. Because if we form the committee, it would be subject to sunshine law and all of those things. So for PIG for finance was to provide a space so we could kind of work on the budget and kind of avoid some of the amendments we have to do tonight. Although totally understand if people's schedules are packed and it's hard to organize, but just letting people know about why these were formed and then their potential use for future. But I'm now that the budget we kind of decided on, I would be in support of removing PIG for finance, but with when future budgets are discussed, that the PIG be reformed.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need for finance or the town hall one. Someone from education, has there been a lot of discussion there, or is that one needed too?
I think the only reason why I didn't bring up the education one is just because pretty much before this week and before the last meeting, we hadn't really been discussing it very much. And that's kind of a new thing. And it doesn't seem like there's much commissioner engagement on it. I mean, I'm also guilty of this too. I haven't been very engaging much with the PIG for education, but that's just the feeling that I got. So I guess we couldn't. Yes, Commissioner Ho.
Yeah. So for education, I think that's true. However, I think recently in the past 2 weeks, I have seen, at least in the group chats, a little bit more engagement. And I think I know we were planning on having that initial meeting. Fortunately, the day just didn't work out. At least we couldn't get a meeting in before this February Youth Commission meeting. However, I think once you get that initial meeting down, that's really when the ball starts to get rolling. I know that it was like that for youth intervention. So hopefully, once we get that initial meeting down for education, we can start to, start seeing some more engagement.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. That's why I didn't include it. Vice Chair Azama?
Yeah, for the education PIG, when it was formed, it was under the intent to look into the free community college tuition, and it kind of fulfilled its purpose, and that's kind of why it fizzled out. But those are, but that's why I would be supportive of it also being removed. But I mean, if people want to revitalize it and shift directions, I'm open to that as well.
Thank you, Vice Chair Azama, for reminding us of why it was formed. I guess, what do we think about keeping it? I think with having what Bronson said about it being originally formed under the community college thing.
I think that's at the discretion of you, Chair, because some of us aren't on it, and if you think it's necessary, because I think that it works as it's your PIG.
Yeah. I think,
I think at least for me, can I throw
Yeah,
in? Yeah,
totally.
I'm also on that one too. And so unfortunately we haven't met yet, but I think like we were just saying, hopefully once we do meet, there is room. And even if that was the original purpose, I think we're kind of just looking at shifting direction, shift to education as a whole, and not like solely education too, just relating to anything within the school system, DOE, and also college level too. So I think there's just a lot of room, and especially as we're the youth commission, I think that's a really key area for us to address. So I'd like to keep it on, and hopefully, yeah, we get a meeting going within this next month.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think just recalling back, I know that me and Vice Chair Millard, like way back when, maybe like 6 months ago, we had a meeting about through the education PIG, and good things did come out of it. I know one of the inspiration for one of my resolutions came from it, and I don't know if we had briefly talked about the community gardens. I don't think that's where it came from, right? I don't.
I don't know. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I
But
can't.
yeah, it was good to at least share ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just maybe it did, if not specifically the community gardens. I think we were talking about like farm to school sort of stuff and just agriculture.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think good things have come out of that PIG, and if anything, just keeping us as commissioners accountable. I probably wouldn't have passed the JPO resolution if I hadn't brought it up to Lindsay and kind of been accountable for it. So I think the PIG for education can probably stay. I think Bronson, you've consistently had updates for the Red Hill PIG, right? And
Yeah, for Red Hill, so sorry, like this last one, I just wasn't able to attend the CRI. I need to communicate better with the other members of the PIG, as well for when future events are coming. But just kind of readjusting to tracking everything. Yeah, my apologies for this round, but mahalo.
no, yeah. And then obviously youth intervention and trafficking, we got an update today. And then the outreach PIG, I think that can still stay because we also have a portion in the budget just for outreach too. So, and then the town hall, we already said we were gonna get rid of that one. So I think, just so it's clear with everyone moving forward, there's no longer gonna be a PIG for finance and a PIG for the HYC town hall.
So, side thing for running PIGs. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. So I've been noticing that the Hawaii State Youth Commission has been testifying on legislation a good amount. I've seen them at a couple hearings, and I've noticed that we haven't done any, at least this year. And I know it makes it kind of hard with the legislative timetable, and then also with when our meetings are monthly, and then the weeks before submission. Would it be possible to make a PIG for, legislative testimony, and then when that PIG makes testimony, could we send it out to the commissioners and just get signatures and then submit it, and it not necessarily be the official voice of the youth commission, but of those individual commissioners?
I would say anytime you're taking a vote with signatures, you would need to go through sunshine.
Okay.
I would also remind you that this is the county youth commission.
There's like county stuff there.
And some.
Sorry.
Yes, Vice Chair Azama.
Yeah, in regards to PIG for legislative testimony, I would support it. But I would support it on the understanding that although I know it really sucks that the legislative session moves really quickly, but that they would come and show us maybe write resolutions on some priority bills, or sharing bills that we should take into consideration. Because it's hard to kind of like just give them discretion to write testimony on behalf of, as Kevin was noting, county commission. But yeah, although I know they're talking about rating as individuals, which is fine. But I don't know if it would be necessary for us to have a PIG if they're just gonna run as individuals as well. But I'm just sharing those thoughts too. Mahalo.
Yeah, if I can just add
Gotcha.
real quick, it's really hard for any board to testify at the state legislature, because generally there's supposed to be a vote for every draft. And so the way that people usually do it is they would hire somebody, to focus on their specific interests, and that decision is made before, and that person has the authority to speak on behalf of the whole commission, or board, or whatever business it is, because otherwise there's just no way you're gonna get board approval of every draft. It's just impossible.
Is it easier to do it at the city?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
there's a lot more time, but I guess I would say you'd have to double check the scheduling, if you would want to, I don't know if you wanna change the meeting dates, but you would probably wanna have your meeting the week before the council meeting, so that you could see whatever they're posting and then discuss it, and somebody could go after that. Yeah, it's just with the 48-hour notice rule is really difficult to do anything with the.
Makes sense.
I think taking what Kevin said into account, it looks like having a PIG for that is a no.
Makes sense. Yeah,
We're good?
makes sense.
Okay. So before I adjourn the meeting, I don't know if you all noticed, but we do have a new commissioner with us. She wanted to introduce herself.
Cool. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. I'm Maya Payne, a senior at Kalaheo High School, and I was nominated to be Kailua District Representative by Councilwoman Esther Kia'aina. I'm passionate about a lot of issues. I'd say probably what I've been a little more involved in has been more environmental activism, especially because I do marine biology research every weekend. And so I'm hoping that I'm able to bring maybe a bit of a research perspective here and discuss, either funding or educational outreach when it comes to either, marine biology research and things that can help the environment and therefore, Hawaii residents' recreation and also mental health, or the healthcare aspect of it, because I have been an intern for stem cell research and some other things. And so, yeah, it's nice to meet you all, and hopefully I can bring some unique takes to our discussions.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. So with that, I think we hit everything on the agenda for tonight. If there are any lasting concerns or comments from anyone? Okay. Seeing none.
I had something, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. Hello, commissioners. I hope you can hear me. Sorry, excuse the dark. I'm in my vehicle after work here, but did you just say that there's a Hawaii Youth Commission?
Yes, there is a Hawaii State Youth Commission and a Hawaii County Youth Commission.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was I guess my question to this commission is: has this commission ever supported a nominee? Say, like for myself, I'm seeking a seat on DLNR's Commission on Water Resource Management. If I send like a CV of myself or informal resume, or if someone would like to make a motion, you can ask me questions now who I am. But I'm seeking counsel or support for my efforts for that open seat on Seaward.
Oh, I believe that we cannot do that because we do have to abide by sunshine law.
Gotcha. Okay. Mahalo.
Yes, thank you. With that, did any commissioners have any comments before we adjourn? Okay, seeing not, I would like to adjourn the February Honolulu Youth Commission to a close at 6:37 p.m.
you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.